All right, Intro to Geometry students. Welcome to your first video lesson. We're going to be working in section 3.5 of your textbooks. Page 70 is where the lesson's at, and then 71 to 73 where your practice problems are. This lesson is about the angles in a triangle. So we've been talking in chapter 3 a lot about triangles in general, how we classify triangles, isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, etc. Obtuse triangles, acute triangles, right triangles, things like that. We talked just before this about congruent triangles. We looked at all the different ways, the shortcuts we had to prove them congruent, and so on. So we're going to continue in chapter 3 talking about triangles, and today we're going to learn two real simple ideas about angles in a triangle. Okay, so I have a triangle here, and there are three angles, obviously. This angle here, this one down there, and then this guy over here. So we got these three angles here. What we're going to try to learn is the relationship between those three angles in every triangle that you've ever seen, whether it's acute, obtuse, right, isosceles, equilateral, doesn't matter, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this black line here. By the way, I apologize for the limited mode. I'm working on getting rid of that, but it's there for right now. So I'm going to use this straight line here to try to illustrate what we know about every triangle ever. Now, this triangle that I've created here is not any special triangle. It's just a random, ambiguous triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab each of these angles, and I'm going to rotate them and then line them up along this line so that all of the corners of the triangle that I had before come together in the same point. Okay, so I took that one and I put it there. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to rotate it around. Maybe not that far. I got to line it up with this one somehow. Just got to line up with that one so that the points touch. Like that. Okay, so there's two angles next to each other, and then the third one's going to go in here, and look at that. Lines up pretty much perfectly, right? So if I take these three angles, you know, angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, those three angles that just a second ago formed my triangle, remember, over here, now I line them up, and they together make a straight line. Okay, now if we remember something about a straight line, or what we used to call a straight angle, if we consider this to be our vertex point, a straight angle is 180 degrees, right? A straight line is 180 degrees if we measure it as an angle. So if I take the three angles of a triangle, I can always do this with them. Okay, I can always make them equal to 180 degrees when I add the three together. When I put angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 all together, they will always equal 180 degrees, okay, no matter what. So that's sort of our rule, okay? And that's sort of the main point of this first part of lesson 3.5 is that the three angles in a triangle always add to 180 degrees, okay? They always add to 180 degrees all the time, every time, no matter what, okay? Always add to 180. I'll try to make a little degree symbol there, okay? Three angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees, okay? Now, what we're going to do with this, then, is we are going to, if I just, let's see, if I just stop sharing for a second, my face is going to get really big. Hello, everybody. And then I go into this. Okay, so if I make myself a triangle and this, and I do this, and I do this. Okay, I have a triangle here. Let's say that I know that this angle right here, okay, this angle right here is going to be, let's say, 45 degrees. Okay, that angle right there is 45 degrees. And I also know that this angle up here is, let's say, 57 degrees. Okay, may not look like that in the picture, but let's just assume we know. This angle is 45 degrees, this angle 57 degrees, The question is, can we find this angle here? The answer is yes, because we know that the three angles in the triangle add up to be 180 degrees. So if I know that one angle is 45 degrees, and I add to that 57 degrees, and I add to that my unknown, right, x, we know that that's got to be equal to 180 degrees, okay? So this little equation, this little algebra equation here, allows us to find this angle without too much difficulty, okay? Two ways that you can sort of solve this. We can either put these two numbers together first. If you want 45 plus 57 is going to make, what, 102? 102 degrees plus x is going to make 180. And so from there, we can just do 180 minus 102, right? Minus the 102. Again, this is just algebra, but you can do it without the algebra as well. Minus 102. So we end up x, that angle x, is equal to 78 degrees. Okay, now another way you can do it is you can just take the 180 that we start with, okay, that we know all three of the angles add up to, and you can minus the two that you know. So do 180 minus 45. Take that answer, which would be 135, and then minus the 57. Okay, and you can do all that on your calculator. You minus 57, and you do end up at 78 degrees. Okay, so we know that the missing angle in that triangle is 78 degrees. So your first section of homework is just that. You're just being asked to find the third angle of a triangle, knowing the other two. Okay, so it's just this rule of all three add up to 180. From there, we can do a lot of math, all right? Now, the other thing that we're going to have to do, if I clear out all of this and I make myself a new triangle, the other thing that we're going to be asked to do is talk about what are called exterior angles of a triangle, okay? So what we were just talking about is something called interior angles. The interior angles are the ones that are on the inside. Okay, which should make sense. The interior, whoops, I did not spell that right. Interior, whoops, don't want to do that. Interior, I don't know if I can go back and change it. Yes, I can. Good. Interior, there we go. Okay, so interior, that's the inside right here. The exterior angles, okay, exterior are going to be on the outside. An exterior angle is created by extending one of our sides. Okay, so we just pick one of our three sides and we extend it on one end, and we will create an exterior angle. So for example, if I'm going to take this top side here and I'm going to extend it, let's say this direction, okay, I'm going to take this top side and I'm going to extend it this direction, okay, I have just created an exterior angle. That exterior angle is right there, okay, that is an exterior angle. So this guy right here, exterior angle. Now the exterior angle obviously makes a straight line with one of the interior angles, right? This exterior angle along with this interior angle, well, they together make that straight line at the top. So they have to add up to 180 degrees. So the outside angle, the exterior one, and the inside angle at the same corner or same vertex have to equal 180 degrees, okay? Now, because of that idea and the idea we just talked about, the interesting thing about exterior angles is that they, exterior angles measure the same as the two, what we call remote interior angles, okay? Combined, I should say, combined. All right, now let me see if I can make that. There we go. We don't need that to be 72. There we go. So the exterior angle here measures the same as the two, what we call remote interior angles put together, okay? What we mean by remote is far away. So like a remote desert island, for example. Okay, so a remote interior angle for this exterior angle here, the remote interiors would be that one and that one. Those two are going to be the remote interior angles for this particular exterior angle, okay? So if I were to, let's say, erase some of this stuff. Whoops, I didn't want to erase that. If I were to erase some of this stuff and label some of these angles with measurements, oops, that ended up blue. Let's make it black. Can I make it black? Maybe not. Select, make it black. Nope, I can't. All right, whatever. If I were to label this angle over here as, let's say, 42, now let's make it 62 degrees. Okay, so this is 62 degrees. And let's say this one down here is 54 degrees. Now, because we know these two angles, we actually know the measure of this remote interior, or excuse me, we know the measure of this exterior angle here just by taking these two and adding them together, okay? So to find the measure of an exterior angle, we simply have to add together the two interior angles that are not at the same vertex. So this exterior angle here would be 116 degrees. Okay, that's a bad 6. 116 degrees would be this one, all right? Also, based on this information, we should be able to find the measure of this interior angle, right? This inside angle has to add up to 180 degrees with these two, but it also has to add up to 180 with that one. So we can do 180 minus 116 and find this right here, or 180 minus 62 and then minus 54. And then we would end up with what, 64 degrees, I guess? 64, okay? That would be 64 degrees. So exterior angles measure the same as the two remote interior angles put together, okay? So that's the deal with exterior angles. That's gonna be the second part of your homework, numbers 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Some of it is about exterior angles, some of it is about interior angles, okay? If you have questions or concerns, please contact me either by phone, email, or Zoom in with me sometime between 10 and noon. That's it for this lesson, and hope you have a great day.